So you're trying to feel better. You're trying to not be anxious. You're trying to not be an asshole. Well, some goals are unachievable. But that's to imply I'm an asshole still after all of this. However, welcome to another motherfucking daily vlog from Scott the motherfucking truck driver. I've been covering the diet side a little heavily this past week or so. But I feel like I'm neglecting some of the other lifestyle changes that I hit on when I did my addictions video on how to help improve our contentment, our happiness, and our overall state of well-being as we get older, as we progress through life. How can we have a better, more fulfilling life? So I need to kind of hit on some minimalistic principles, and I'm going to get further into this Thursday, by the way. I'm going live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're one of my subscribers watching this in real time, obviously, if you're watching this years later, then that, you can go back and watch it. However, I will be covering this topic fairly in depth on how I've improved my life. But today's vlog, I wanted to give you guys just a little tip that I've been trying to do more of that I haven't perfected yet, but it's something that I am noticing has helped me a lot, both socially and stress-wise. I've noticed the fucking mic close enough. See, editing has, there's something to be said about fully produced videos, which this isn't. Basically, I've noticed when I made the change I'm going to suggest that my social interactions improved. Although I still have some observations about that. My overall how I feel throughout the day is improved. Now, part of that is the dietary change, but there are other components I feel to really fine-tune it to where you're having a great fucking life. And I'm not having a great fucking life. There's a lot of things happening this week that normally would have sent me into the fucking tank and depression. But I'm handling them a lot better, not just because I'm on the ketogenic diet, and that, of course, as I've said in the past, levels out your mood. No more huge peaks and valleys. It's more like rolling hills through a nice, pleasant, wooded forest. Get the picture? Anyways, we overdo everything. We overdo our diets. We overdo our exercise. We overdo our fucking work. We overdo everything. And that, of course, generates stress, anxiety. It makes you feel like shit for hormonal legit reasons. We aren't designed to be stressed all the time. We do need fucking breaks and shit. And a lot of us never take a fucking break. And I don't mean a break as in playing a fucking video game or going to the bar and drinking. I'm saying a break from the things that stress us. And more over the past few years, probably I'd say the past 10 years, the media, ever since, we started to get into this 24-hour news bullshit, has destroyed us in ways that you can't even, fathom, that I never thought were possible. I always used to, as a kid, watch the news and be like, oh, that shit happened, okay. Now we're a society where headlines sell. Headlines generate more motherfucking money. Headlines make better fucking ad revenue for people. It's a clickbait media. We're guilty of it here on YouTube to a lesser degree, but it's the same principles, only taken to a whole new fucking level, to almost to the point where they're willing to make shit up or leave shit out or cherry pick news or, just to get you to react, to be passionate, to be angry, to watch, and to keep fucking watching. I used to watch a lot of news. I used to follow a lot of politics. I used to be one of those triggered motherfuckers that constantly was having an opinion on shit I couldn't personally fucking control. And when you are stressed out by shit you can't control, that is when you lose control of your life. So, my advice to help reduce your level of stress, your level of anxiety, your level of anger, of divisiveness, of arguing with people about their beliefs, is to, A, not let the media tell you what to think. First of all, be able to sort out when they're kind of giving their opinion and when they're kind of giving you facts, and leave their opinion to them. Yeah, they have a platform. They're getting on there, much like I'm getting on here and stating my opinion. But you guys know when I'm on here talking, I'm not a news guy. I'm not trying to portray truth and fact. I'm giving you my opinion on things that I believe are fact, and I'm putting it in that context for you guys on a regular basis. Whenever I say I'm not an expert, I'm just an asshole. I'm pretty much just told you the whole fucking video is my opinion based on research and personal experience. When you let an ad-funded driven thing like the media try and you think everything they're telling you is true, everything is fact checks, which we know even with this most recent shooting, they got it wrong for a good portion of the time, but yet that didn't shut them the fuck up, did it? And it's still not. And it's still going. And they're still trying to make money off of that tragedy, which I don't really agree with. I don't agree when you are making money at the expense of others' health, happiness, and life. And that is something the media has excelled at because it makes a lot of money. I would argue that the videos I do for ad revenue have helped a lot of people improve their life, their health, their weight, and so on and so forth. What the fuck is the media doing for us? What are they doing for us? Are they giving us any information that's helpful? Oh yeah, you see the little health blog that's industry funded that often steers us in the wrong direction. And it's only so they don't look stupid do they change their minds. But for the most part, they know who pays the bills over at the news place, so they're not going to report shit that pisses in the waters of Pepsi, Coke, and the food industry and all of those motherfuckers. They are going to tell you what they think will keep you watching, and what keeps people watching is anger and fear, and, those are the big things they're using to keep us engaged in the news. I would argue that we don't need that much news. We don't need to be super hyper informed up to the minute. All right? Does it make a difference if you hear about it 5 minutes or a few days later in your life? Now, granted, local news is a little different. I'm talking about the fucking 24-hour cable news cycle. It is fucking worthless. And it trickles down into the local news. But I would argue if you just cut out that 24-hour news cycle bullshit and all the news that you get through your news feeds and all of that crap, and you just cut down on the clickbait shit, and you get to the, okay, what happened today in my town, and they tend to mention the bigger national news. But they don't sit there and drone on about it because they only got an hour of your time. I'm not saying don't be informed. I'm saying don't be over-informed. And time your news. Time it at the end of your day, If you start your day with the news, you're going to be miserable the whole fucking day because you're going to be dwelling on whatever the fuck happened, which I did Monday. And I wasn't miserable per se, but I was not at the peak of my, little upper hill. I was probably in a little bit of a dip. And I would attest that part of it was the bad news that we got. Not only was it the bad news, but it was the chronic exposure to that bad news. It was on the news all day, and I was exposed to it periodically throughout the day, which is a little more news than I fucking care to watch. In politics, I don't even fucking want to watch it anymore. I don't want to hear about Trump. I don't want to hear about Democrats. I don't want to hear about fucking Republicans. I don't want to hear about lawmakers arguing over this law or that. They're going to fuck it up anyway. Doesn't make a difference if I'm watching. If I vote a certain way or another way, it's still going to be fucked. Because they're not doing it in the best interest of the people. They're doing it in the best interest of getting reelected and keeping money in corporate pockets. That's what's going on in government, and we're just spinning our wheels, and that allows that to continue because we're out here arguing over these politics, and it's distracting us from the real fact that we have let capitalism go a little far out of control and has pretty much fucked our health, our mental health, and lifestyles and made us slaves to the workplace, beyond which a lot of countries even do. Now, there's a lot to swallow in that little fucking rant that I just did, but I gotta say, the biggest thing that has improved my mental health is reducing, first of all, the amount of shit that I give a shit about in the news. You know, I do listen to the news periodically. I want to hear what they're spouting off, but I listen to it with a huge dose of skepticism. I listen to it from the, okay, I wonder if there's proof of that kind of way. You know, I am very skeptical when I watch the news. I try and extrapolate things that are probably undeniable facts and leave the rest of their bullshit theorizing and fucking opinionated shit to themselves, because quite frankly, I don't like any of their opinions. Their opinions suck. They hold no value for me. I don't enjoy listening to the opinion of somebody that's a fucking asshole all the time, that is doing it strictly to keep me watching and not to help me in any way. They're not trying to inform me or protect me or make my world a better place. They're trying to get views, just like we do on YouTube. They're trying to stroke us to keep watching. And, you know, that's fine if it's for a positive result. But I can't remember the last time I was watching cable news and had a positive reaction to it. I've never watched cable news and been like, holy fuck, I'm glad they told me that. That's changed my whole life. I've found YouTube channels that have done that. I'll gladly watch their fucking commercials because they helped me. They improved my life. They added value to my life instead of taking it from me, which is what the media has become. They play to our fears. They play to our anger. They play to our divisiveness. They tell us what we want to fucking hear. They tell some people what they want to hear while ostracizing and persecuting others. They are stirring the pot so that we can't settle down and be content with our own beliefs and our own ways of thinking. They're telling you how to think, what to be upset about, who to be angry at, who to fucking get pissed in, and there is no value in your life for any of that. There's none. It's not fucking helping you in any way. Oh, I'm informed. No, you're not. You're informed by someone else's opinion. And that's all that cable news has become. Cherry-picked fucking news with a few facts mixed in to make sure you don't fuck them up. Because we all know we all kind of fact-check shit. But we tend to trust the news media on the cable box a lot more than we trust what we see on Facebook. And there's a reason for that, because over the years we've been burned by reading articles on Facebook and going, you know, hey, that must be true, and you share it out to all your friends, and then 10 of your friends say, fucking, what are you sharing this crap for? Here's the truth. And I would argue that you should research. If you're passionate about something, you shouldn't just take the fucking news commentator's opinion and roll with it as your own. You should go out there and do the homework, do the legwork. If you're that passionate, if you're that angry about things, get out there and get it done. Go out there and find out what the truth is. See if it's all they say it is. It's easy to put a camera in the right place at the right time and put the right people on the other side of it to make you feel a certain way about something. They've been doing it for years. And thankfully, it wasn't as big of a problem back in the day because we weren't so connected. But now that we're completely interconnected, the minute something happens, we find out about it. I'm trying to lower that at level, not eliminate it, but put it back down to 1980s level or 1970s level or even earlier. Let's go back to the 30s where we listened to the news program maybe once a day. And it was at the end of the day, the family gathered around the fucking radio to hear the news. And you know what? I'd argue they had a better happiness in a lot of their normal day-to-day lives when they weren't being, at war with all of the evil in the world. And when they were, they still weren't watching it 24 hours a day. They had to go to a fucking theater to see a newsreel. So I would be willing to contend that even during World War II, there were people that were just fine. Because they were doing their part to serve the war effort, and they only got exposed to the news once a day, if that. If they felt like going to the theater to watch the goddamn newsreel. Now, I'm not suggesting we take a huge step back in technology, but we should be more free thinking about our exposure to it. And we should definitely reduce the negative fucking influences in our lives. And I would argue the 24-hour news cycle is a negative influence. There's nothing you can fucking do to save the world. You're one motherfucker. Even if you got 10 motherfuckers together, you're still not going to make a dent. Change has to come with how we act, how we behave, our personal lifestyle habits, the things we do in our life. And if we do that, it does spread. People tend to see when things are good and want that for themselves. I have watched it with the changes I've made. I've seen others attempt them at the very least. I've seen people that are finding success with it. Many of you who watch this channel are doing that. Name to me a time when you've watched cable news and had that effect, where it brought that value, or any TV for that matter. It's very rare you find a good, unbiased documentary, or you really have to dig in today's modern TV. And I don't even watch cable TV anymore. I don't. Most of what I watch nowadays is YouTube and Netflix, and I'm fine with that. I get all the entertainment I need. If there's another show that's not on those two fucking systems, I just go out and buy it, and I'll watch it, and that'll be that. My life has become a lot better the more I reduce my exposure to them. I used to, in the truck, I'd used to listen to it for hours. And I would be so worked up, so stressed, so miserable. I would argue that was part of my problem in trucking, is I was just overexposed to news and politics. And when I quit trucking and no longer did that on a daily basis, I improved my life just a tad bit more than all the other things I've done. So I'm not saying don't be informed. Pick your news carefully. I myself enjoy watching Philip DeFranco. He's here on YouTube. He does a summary of some of the bigger headlines of the day. He gives his opinion in a separate form and then asks for your opinion. And he presents both sides generally of a case. And if there is something that is taken out of context or, cherry picked by the mainstream media, he tends to point it out. And, not to say he's the end all be all, but that's one of my less stressful sources of news. I enjoy watching him. I enjoy the opinions. I enjoy when he shares the opinions of his subscribers. And I enjoy his take on the headlines and the research and time it takes. He has a team of people doing it. Imagine if I had a team, what I could accomplish. But he has a lot of people doing his homework for him. And he probably does a lot of his homework too. I know I'm always passionate about finding things out and learning things too. And I respect that. I don't think that modern journalism they've lost their way with that. It's about, okay, we can't sell newspapers anymore, so we need more clicks. And they look at, other forms of social media and they're like, what gets clicks? And it's clickbait. Titles, clickbait pictures, clickbait video. This video is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. You click in it and it's not. Our clickbait fucking 24-hour news cycle needs to go fuck themselves. All right? I'm tired of it. I really am. people that I get along with over the years, in the past, have been divided with me. My ex-girlfriend, same thing. Divided. And part of it was because of my overexposure to news and politics. I don't blame her entirely. I also am guilty of this. I have done it for many years. I'm an opinionated fuck. All right? I get passionate about shit. Right now, I'm passionate about health and self-improvement. And anybody that knows me really well knows I talk about the shit a lot. Almost to the point that they're sick of it. But that's how I am. I get involved. Imagine if I was that involved in something as toxic as the modern politics and news of the day. And the modern, anger generation and the modern divisiveness and the modern things that have pissed us all off at each other while distracting us from the important things in life. Like our health, like our mental health, like our physical health, like our financial health. We're distracted from all of that. We're too busy, kneeling for a flag or, going to a protest or watching protesters and going, I fucking hate this group or I fucking hate that group or I fucking hate them or this. You ain't going to change motherfuckers just because you don't like them. I don't like a lot of motherfuckers. But I don't let them fucking ruin my life. I don't let them cloud my thinking. I don't let them anywhere in my brain, anymore. I've cut that out. And my life improved. On many levels. I spend that time more constructively now. Instead of watching, who to be angry at today news, I get on there and research new health topics, new ways to improve my life. I go out to try and find value, to learn shit, to improve shit. And no one's telling me how to think. I'm free thinking. I take or leave some of the things I find and learn out there. And I also know there's a lot of opinion in that. And there's a lot of bias in that. But if you do enough research and you spend enough time doing it, and I would argue if you spend a lot of time watching news, you'd have enough time to do the research I've done. Because I spend about that time. The time that I would spend watching television or media has been shifted over to research and topics and things that I'm interested in for the betterment of my life. And when you replace the toxic media news with that shit, you're on the right path. Now, bad shit's going to happen. We can't prevent it. And I feel really bad for the bad shit that's happened this week. All right? The people that are going through this, they don't deserve it. And I empathize with them. Let them be. Because every time you abuse this on the 24-hour news cycle, you're re-traumatizing people that went through this shit. They're having to relive it over and over again because every 10 minutes there's a video or a picture running of this. It's all over Facebook. It's all over the news. Can you imagine if one of your loved ones died and you had to watch them die over and over again through the fucking TV and media? Also that they can make money by traumatizing the rest of us? Making us angry, making us upset? It's fucking sickening, to be honest with you. I don't understand why we even allow this to go on. And we do. I'm not saying legislate it. I'm saying stop watching the shit. Take in your 10 to 15 minutes and it'll go away. If we all reduce the amount of time we watch that shit, there wouldn't be any money in it. And they wouldn't be capitalizing on fake shit anymore and clickbait. If we didn't watch, they would have to fucking shape the fuck up, tell us the real news, tell us the facts, and leave the opinions to the opinion blogs, to the people who analyze shit. And that separates it from the news so that if you want that shit, if you like that shit, if that brings some kind of value, I don't know who is into that makes them have a better life, then it's there. You can go get it. And believe it or not, it's already there. If the news just became the fucking news, there's still plenty of places to go to get opinions. But they realized back in the day that if we put opinion panels and put people bickering and fighting with each other on the news, and we can hone in our point while making money for our advertisers, and it keeps them coming back and paying. So that's my theory on how to better our lives in a meaningful way. Okay? So that's what we got to do. We have to do that. If you want a better life. If you want to reduce your stress and the way you feel about things that you can't control. And you really need to reduce stressing out and anxiety and depression and fear about things you can't control. Because what does that do for you? It doesn't protect you. It doesn't keep you safe. It doesn't make you any less susceptible to things that are bad in the world. You're aware that they're there. I think we're hyper aware at this point. And then you just let them go. And hope it doesn't happen to you. Take the steps you can, obviously, in your own life, if you're that afraid of certain things. But by no means do you need to live in fear and anxiety. And if you're not constantly exposed to these things which trigger these responses, these stress responses, these fight or flight reflexes in your brain, if you're not exposed to them all the time, you will calm the fuck down a lot more than you do now. Do I still get anxiety? Do I still get stressed? Absolutely. But only about things I have control over. I always analyze the things I'm upset about and whether or not I can do anything about it. And if I can't do anything about it, I generally say, fuck it. That's enough of that. If I can do something about it, I try and do something about it. And then if that fails, I say, fuck it. That's how I've combated my anxiety, fear, and anger over the years. And it's really come to a head when I reduced my exposure to the 24-hour news cycle. So let me know what you think in the fucking comments of your thoughts on this. And really, next time you watch the 24-hour news cycle, especially if you're a junkie, at the end of it, ask what you got out of it. What did you get out of it? How did it make your life better? Your personal life and the life of those around you. We're always going to hear, oh, it made this worse. I'm glad I knew this. Because that's all they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you things to be afraid of, to be angry about, to be upset about, to worry about. They're not going to tell you the things that bring value, that make you happy, that, that you can go out and do to better your personal life. No, not so much. Your best interests aren't in their minds when they present you the news. They're not protecting you from anything. They are driving your fear. And when you're afraid, you're going to keep tabs on what you're afraid of. And you're going to be passionate about it, and you're going to be angry about it, and you're going to be stressed about it. And in my day-to-day life, I don't need to be constantly exposed to that. Occasionally, yes, just to kind of keep in touch with the world, but on a more primitive level than we have been. So take in the things that add value to your life and leave the things that take it away aside. And I think you'll find a marked improvement, even if you don't go keto for the mood stabilization. I think you'll find a slight improvement in your mental health if you do that. Just my opinion. Because I'm not a motherfucking expert. I'm just a motherfucking asshole. So, we got the live broadcast tomorrow where I will continue this subject on how to improve your life. And from the perspective of the things I've done as a whole over the past 2.5 years to get where I am today. I will go over where I came from, both from a mental health, a physical health perspective, and kind of talk about the plans I'm continuing to implement and test out in my life to improve my life and my fulfillment and my contentment. And I know I'm on the right path because I've made progress already. So I want to keep going. If I wasn't making progress, I wouldn't keep going. Trust me, I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that says, oh, it's not working. Try it out. Try something else. This ain't working. And that's what I do. I'll try something. It doesn't work. Fuck it. Try something else. The thing is, a lot of the things I've been trying work lately, even though I was skeptical, they've been working. So that's coming up 9 p.m. Thursday, the podcast. I want to thank my patrons. I don't put credits on these short motherfucking vlogs, but don't worry. There are going to be days where I do normal videos instead of these, where I can talk about things and present different, a different perspective. I am going to up the production quality of the regular videos well over this, to where, a lot of those were talking heads. Just I do a lot of cuts to both emphasize certain things and to remove mistakes, and to shorten the videos too. So, there's going to be videos that replace the daily vlogs. Also, as a side note, the daily vlogs are not guaranteed, but now I know there's going to come a time, because I do get pressed for time. I'm really trying to hit the Uber, and I haven't been hitting it enough because other shit's been coming up. But there are going to be times when I just can't squeeze off a vlog, because I was struggling. I had literally 1:30 in the morning last night I posted the vlog. I had already filmed it earlier in the day. I started the render, and then I had some place to be. And then, by the time I got back, it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I just posted it, So you guys are actually watching these about a day behind now, which is going to happen from time to time. And then there'll be times where I'm on the ball and I get it out quickly. Ending up at 30 minutes again. That's great. Have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. More shit. Let's get some of that bullshit fucking news out of our life. I mean, it's really fucking, it's out of control. I'm tired of it.